All right, guys, I've done a few autumn-themed videos. Did an autumn notes, a top 10 autumn notes deep dive video. If you haven't caught that one, please go catch it. And also did a budget offering as well, a budget video, budget fragrances for autumn. And I've got the luxury niche edition today, and I've got 21 awesome fragrances you can wear this autumn season. If you've already started wearing your autumn fragrances, do let me know what they are. Add a comment below. Let's get started with the first fragrance. This is Jusbox's 54. I think you can wear this any time of the year, all year round, but I think it shines in the autumn and winter months because of the warm notes. It's got creamy notes, fruity notes. Of course, it's about patchouli and vanilla, but there's also chocolate, and there's Davana, there's coconut, there's boozy notes like rum, sandalwood in the dry down, and tobacco. It's a heavenly wear, super delicious, and it settles to a milk chocolate effect on my skin when it's drying down. It's super, super delicious. A fragrance I'm very proud of. I'm so happy for this fragrance. If you haven't tried it yet, please do. It's gonna shine in the autumn months when it's a bit warm and a bit cool at the same time. Awesome scent from Jusbox and perfumer Julien Rascanet. Then we're gonna go to the house of Maison Crivelli. It's Saffron Secret, Saffron Secret or Saffron Secret. So this is a redo of Ingredients 07-2012, I believe that's how it's called. And they hadn't published the notes. Now they have published the notes. So it's saffron, woods, and amber. So with this one, for me, it's a very sexy wear. And I was guessing fruits, amber, ambergris, vetiver, and eventually it turned out to be saffron. That's what the note is. And it does have these kind of grassy, slightly metallic, earthy effects to it with the saffron, but it's actually super sexy. I'm glad they released it because when it had come out as a boutique exclusive to a store in Prague, and I was like, who's going to get this? Nobody's going to be able to get it unless they travel to Prague. And I'm happy it's available everywhere. It's definitely one of the best. Even though it's an extract, it doesn't wear like Patchouli Magnetic, which a lot of people don't like. This stuff is, again, really awesome, really long lasting, but not as potent and beast mode as Patchouli Magnetic. So it's available, and I think it's perfect because the way it wears is very autumn-like. So that's Saffron Secret from the house of Maison Crivelli. Then we're going to the house of Goldfield and Banks. It's their new one, Tales of Amber. I just did a video on it. I absolutely love this. Really, really love it. It's probably become, well, I think, yeah, it's become my favorite from the house of Goldfield and Banks, closely followed by Silky Woods, which I really love. Not the extract or the extreme or whatever it's called, the original Silky Woods. This is a very ambery fragrance, but it's kind of ambergris and amber together, so it's resinous. It's a bit smoky, and it's a bit salty as well, and dry, woody, and there's some smokiness that runs through it. So for me, it's actually kind of an original take on amber. I like that saltiness from the ambergris and slight marine oceanic qualities, but then you have all the resinous and smoky, ambery, vanillic kind of notes that come in and combine both of the types of ambers, the amber accord and the amber from the ambergris, to create this wonderful wearing experience. Really awesome fragrance from the house of Goldfield and Banks. It's Tales of Amber. If you haven't tried it, please do. I highly recommend it. And everything that you're going to hear about today are some of the top-notch niche, luxury niche fragrances. Next up is JEROBOAM's Cardamom, which we recently featured in a Scent Club kit. Actually, it's not a Scent Club kit. It's the mystery box. Did you happen to sample this one? This is definitely a great offering from the house, and I'm surprised how great it is because it's pear, and I never thought pear could be this delicious. They've really brought out the intense, made the pear intense and super juicy, and it's against the cocktail of musks, a bit amber and woods as well. And in the end, long-lasting, super sexy wear, juicy, crisp, fruity pear, and all the musk galore. I absolutely really love musky fragrances, and it's combined with the pear note here. It wears really superb, and I think also it could be perfect for autumn because pear as a note is definitely a very autumnal fruit. So I think it's a great fragrance to wear this autumn. This is Cardamom from the house of JEROBOAM. All right, next up we're going to the house of BornToStandOut. It's Filthy Musk, recently featured in the Scent Club kit number 15. One of my favorite offerings from this house. In fact, it might be my all-time favorite from the house. Created by Margot Lepai-Goran, and she did a really great job with it, combining sweeter kind of ambery and fruity notes against dirty, filthy, musky notes. It's a nice clash. It works really wonderfully together. Really awesome, really long-lasting and it wears amazing in the autumn, I think. It's a really, really great experience for the autumn cooler months. Don't forget, there's also a bit of booziness in here. This is Filthy Musk, smells superb, and if you haven't tried it, please do. Remember, it's in our latest Scent Club, well, previous Scent Club kit. Then we have a fragrance from the house of Marc-Antoine Barrois. It's Ganymede. Everybody knows this one. It's a super popular fragrance, and to me, this is like autumn in a bottle. The way it wears, because it has immortelle as a note, so it acts very autumn-like, but it also has the saffron that was featured in the Saffron Secret. But you know, the saffron kind of wears like a dry leaf in this and also in Saffron Secret, but really great combination of notes. It's got great lingering power, but it's not super dense and heavy. And I think the original, in comparison to the extract, is perfect for the autumn, especially when it gets a little cold outside. But this is kind of leathery, mineral, you know, dry, leafy, musky, and a bit fruity as well. So that's Marc-Antoine Barrois, Ganymede. Let me know if you're familiar with that. We're going to Affinescence Saffron Neroli next. Somehow we're ending up with a bit of saffron-focused fragrances today. But this was also featured in a recent mystery box and really fell in love with the way it smells. I think it's a very unique smell, really, really unique. It's a neroli and saffron together. Those are heart notes, and it creates a very, really awesome combo. But there's also honey here. There's black tea and some ylang ylang, and it's a super intoxicating smelling fragrance. One of the best from this house and one of the most original smells I've put on as far as the fragrance goes. What do you guys think? Saffron neroli? Did you check it out? Did you wear it? Did you enjoy it? Let me know. Add a comment below. And then we've got a fragrance from the house of Maison, Francis Kurkdjian. It's Absolute Pour Le Soir. Yeah, I'm featuring this one, even though it's a bit difficult to get. It's still easy now because the MFK website is selling this. It's been brought back. It's one of the kind of the underrated fragrances from MFK, which got discontinued around 2020. Now it's back. Limited edition, not limited, but limited availability, I should say. It's not selling widely, so you can get it off their website. It's an amber mostly, it's honeyed, it's rosy, and it's also musky animalic and a bit spicy cumin-like, but it's a super sexy edition. I think the original was even a little better, but I think as this fragrance has aged in my bottle, it's smelling closer and closer to the OG in the OG formulation. So that's Absolute Pour Le Soir from MFK. Let me know if you're familiar with that. And then we're going to the house of Les Eaux Primordiales. This is Amber Supermassive. Really super boozy and tobacco-ish fragrance that goes ambery because it's called Amber Supermassive. And it also has boozy touches. Did I say that? Fruity touches. There's a very honeyed effect happening, and I think the combination is super intoxicating. Lots of honeyed touches, fruity touches, ambery touches, boozy touches, and of course the tobacco together creates for this really unique kind of a bar setting with sipping on kind of boozy kind of liqueurs and spirits and things like that, with some smells of like other cocktails that are around you, and then of course the cigarette tobacco-ish touches with the tobacco in this. I think it's great. I still prefer Vanilla Supermassive a bit more, but I'm really growing on this. I love the way the kind of the sticky, glossy, kind of vanillic ambery touches are against the fruits and the tobacco and the boozy notes. So that's Amber Supermassive from the house of Les Eaux Primordiales. Then we're going to the house of Une Nuit Nomade. It's Chemin d'Imande. It's become a really great favorite of mine from the house. It's very nutty, but also doughy because it has wheat, it has vanilla, and it has almonds. And to me, it's almost like you've ground up a lot of almonds, so you've made it into powder form, and you're mixing it with your wheat flour, and you're tossing it up, tossing it and mixing in vanilla, and you get this kind of doughy, kind of nutty and vanillic smell, and texturally it kind of wears like that too, and it's a really, really cozy fragrance for the autumn and super delicious to wear as well. It's a unique take on a gourmand, not necessarily going super cookie sweet vanilla caramel, but more like the experience I was mentioning, like ground up the ground up almonds with the wheat and all that kind of stuff. So that's Chemin d'Imande from the house of Une Nuit Nomade. Really wonderful offering from that house. And then I'm bringing in a bit of a classic here, but I think it's kind of started to become popular again out there. It's from the house of Maître Parfumeur Gantier. It's Parfum des Habits. Are you guys familiar with this one? So this is kind of classic. It's an older fragrance, but I feel like a lot of people are talking about it all of a sudden. People are really enjoying this fragrance. And I feel like this fragrance pays tribute to a classic fragrance from the 60s, I believe, from Guerlain called Habit Rouge, but a bit more masculine, a bit more butch, and not necessarily very mass market. So it's leather, patchouli, sandalwood, geranium, ambergris, incense, blackcurrant, bergamot, petitgrain, and vanilla. So it's mostly lots of woods. It's lots of leather, but it's a wearable leather. There's the patchouli in here to give you that earthiness, and of course some light fruits and citruses and floral notes coming in to contrast. And the vanilla in here kind of sweetens it up, but eventually, like I said, it's a leather fragrance with a lot of woods and everything going in to kind of support it and smooth it out rather than like really harsh leather and woods experience. I think it's very classy and also super sexy. It's Parfum d'Empire from the house of Maître Parfumeur Gantier. This has been a recent love for me. This is Dries Van Noten Havana Gold. It's a really super sticky tobacco fragrance, and it's also spicy. There's a lot of anise and licorice kind of notes in here, and against the kind of honeyed stickiness of the notes and also warm spicy notes, it acts kind of like licorice to me goes a bit boozy, and it's a spice. It's a bit green. And so I feel like it kind of acts like this really great contrast of spiciness, slight booziness against the tobacco, and a lot of honey touches in here. So it eventually gets ambery, but it's a tobacco fragrance that's not smoky, but a super sticky, kind of sweet and spicy take on a leafy tobacco. So that's Havana Gold from the house of Dries Van Noten. It's become my second favorite from that house. Really enjoy that one. All right, and then we've got this new one that I've fallen in love with from the house of Christian Louboutin. It's Fetish L'Ambre. As soon as I smelled this, it was like, I got to get a bottle. It smells so good. It's a unique take on amber from this house, which I don't really follow too much, and these bottles are kind of also really weird with these pointy, whatever the heck these are. But to me, it's a very unique take on amber. It reminds me of something that I still can't pinpoint, but for some strange reason, it reminds me of Eau Sauvage Parfum 2012. I don't know why it reminds me of that, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. There's a lot of tuberose in here, and then the rest of it is all darker notes. The tuberose is a bit on the green side, but they've also thrown in some green notes in here against all the ambery, balsamic, and also citrusy touches in here. So this really beautiful tuberose with green notes and amber, like dripping and drizzling with amber all over it. Wonderful offering. It smells so great, super sexy, super sexy. And it's a one-of-a-kind amber. I don't get fragrances like this, but like I said, it does remind me a little bit of Eau Sauvage Parfum 2012. I don't know why, but perhaps Eau Sauvage Parfum 2012 with an overdose of tuberose or something. So that is Fetish L'Ambre from the house of Christian Louboutin. And then, of course, this is also something I've fallen in love with lately. This is Louis 15 1722 from the house of Xerjoff, a really great modern fougere, very woody, leathery, spicy, and also a bit fizzy, kind of effervescent with the champagne liqueur note in here. And again, it's a very modern take on a fougere barbershop style. Everything smells so clean and pure. The lavender in here also kind of refined and super smooth. There's a bit of nutty notes and also some other notes that pop in to create this one-of-a-kind kind of a fougere that I think it'll remind you of a fougere because that's what it is, but it comes off super luxurious, really luxurious with the way it's blended and, composed. I just totally fell in love with this one, and I have to speak about it because I love it. This is Xerjoff's Louis 15 1722, and this is a fragrance from the house of Hellenis. It's called Le Bras de Morphe. So this fragrance I fell in love with also at a perfume show in Paris called Paris Perfume Week. And it's the first time I had discovered, and a few people said, you got to go check out Hellenis because it's a really great new house. And sure enough, now a lot of retailers are selling this. It's at ZGO Perfumery. It should be at Lucky Scent now. And also it's been selling at Printemps New York City and Stell in New York City. So there's a lot of retailers. But what I like about this one, it's an Orris that's meshed with violet. So it's quite powdery, and there's also heliotrope to even intensify the powdery effect. Kind of hints at things like Dior Homme Intense, maybe a bit of Dior Homme Parfum, but I think it's more Dior Homme Intense. But there's enough sweetness under there to kind of balance it out. And even though it acts vegetal because I get vegetal qualities from Orris or Iris, it's still not like a vegetal experience. But it's a really nicely blended fragrance called Le Bras de Morphe from the house of Hellenis. Let me know if you're familiar with that. Actually, I was recently hanging out with a friend who was wearing this fragrance, and I was walking a bit behind them because there was a bunch of us, and I kept getting wafts and wafts and wafts of something that I really loved. And I asked them what they were wearing, and they said it's Thomas DeMonico's Sol Salgado. So I really like the way it smelled on them. So here I am, like, revisiting this fragrance after several years, and it's really a great offering from the house. It's focusing on linden blossom, but it kind of goes into a bit of a warmer, powdery direction. It's got mimosa, salt, sandalwood, smoked vanilla, ambergris, skin musk, heliotrope, cotton flower accord. Have you guys tried this? Do you enjoy linden blossom? Really, really delicious. It's very, very powdery. It's got that really unique, distinct smell of linden blossom, which has slight honey touches, including the mimosa. Mimosa does have that kind of slight honey touches as well, but the combination is really great, and that salt is there to kind of tone down the sweetness, which adds a bit of a saltiness to the fragrance, but really love the way it wears. It's also very, very long lasting. It's not raw gold, but definitely it's a great offering from the house of Thomas DeMonico. So that is Sol Salgado from Thomas DeMonico. Then we're going to the house of Arquiste. Almond Suede. Are you guys familiar with this one? Yeah, this is another one that I've fallen in love with, and it's one of the first fragrances I've really fallen in love with from the house. It's created by Khalees Becker of Givaudan, and it's combining almonds with suede, and there's also some orange flower here, which is quite distinct and reminds me of a candy. And suede notes in fragrances are, even though they're leather, they don't act super animalic and things like that. They act a bit sweeter and softer. And, it's a really awesome offering. There's also honey here. There's peppery notes, vanilla, really wonderful combination. But I really like what they've done with the bitter almonds and also the suede together. It's a match made in heaven here in the way this wears. There's a little bit of a hint of something in here. When I smell it, it smells like an orange blossom candy or a dessert. And it's interesting that I'm kind of reminded of an orange blossom dessert or candy, because the perfumer that made this is Khalees Becker, who also made Love Don't Be Shy for Kilian. So it gives me light hints, not identical though. This is Almond Suede from the house of Arquiste. Let me know if you're familiar with that. We're moving on to the house of the Harmonist. This is Oud Nebula. This is also really, really awesome. I couldn't believe how great this oud is. It's oud and amber with saffron. There's rose here, leather, sandalwood, tonka, cedar, laurel note. And the way the fragrance is composed is super refined, and I was bored of oud and rose, and this has actually kind of ignited my love for oud and rose again. And what I really like about it, it's not rough. It's very, very refined, and they're giving us the purest and most quality parts of the ingredients, and it's long lasting, but it smells really, really awesome. The combo of the oud and the rose, it's not animalic, it's a western oud, so it's very wearable, and I love the contrast with the rose and the oud, and of course everything else that's in here, like the leather and sandalwood. So that's Oud Nebula from the house of the Harmonist. Let me know if you're familiar with that. Up next, we're going to the house of Laurent Maison. This is Fildor number 1. This was also in our mystery box recently, and it's another amber, but this time we've got a booziness and tobacco-ish touches with the amber. These two are like total amber fragrances, and they're totally different as well. Like the Tales of Amber is more salty, kind of marine, because it's got the ambergris. Here we got a very smoky, boozy, vanillic, dark, woody take on, and resinous, I should say. There's a lot of resins here, and it's overdosed with a lot of pink pepper and black pepper, so you'll really notice it. What I like about it is the rum that's in here gives it a bit of a boozy freshness, so it brightens up the fragrance because a lot of the notes kind of goes dark. But it's an overly resinous fragrance. That's lots of resins here. That's labdanum, the myrrh, and mixed together with the tobacco and everything else that's in here, it makes for a really wonderful wear. Very long lasting as well. So that's Laurent Maison Fildor number 1. I'm throwing this in here because it's a recent discovery, but it's kind of an older fragrance, but I love it. It's a great autumn fragrance. Eau de Soleil from the house of Naomi Goodsir, created by Bertrand de Chafour. So good. This is so yummy. It's very fruity and spicy and boozy as well. Also honeyed. Honeyed definitely acts honeyed for me. It's like honey drizzled with all kinds of fruits and flowers and aromatics and woods and vanillic notes. Very long lasting, and a little goes a long way. And of course, on me, it sweetens up with my skin chemistry and makes for a really delicious kind of like a fruity floral compote with honey like syrup just drizzled all over it. If you haven't discovered this, please do. I'm a latecomer to this. I absolutely really love it. That's Eau de Soleil from the house of Naomi Goodsir. And then we're going to end the video with Reinvented's Ethereal Soul for a kind of a tart, fruity experience with lots of musks and mossy notes. Have you guys discovered this fragrance yet? It has blackcurrant, musk, cherries, raspberries, mossy notes and citruses. So it's mostly fresh, but there's a lot of like mossy notes and kind of like ambroxan-y, kind of musky and ambery notes in the dry down. So it has great lingering power. But up top, the citruses and the fruits together is a really great kind of tart, juicy, fruity kind of an experience. It wears quite long. It's got a lot of musk. Like I said, I love the musky notes in here and the kind of really intense, concentrated take on a combo of fruits that's like a mixture of like a fruity juice or something, mixing various different kind of berries and dark red fruits. Acts like that, and the color is exactly what I'm experiencing here. A little bit like pomegranates as well, because pomegranates do get tart, but this is not featuring pomegranates, it's other fruits. But in the end, it's a tart take on fruits. The kind of like not super sweet, even though I love sweet fragrances. In fruits, I kind of like tartness sometimes, which wears really awesome. So that's Reinvented's Ethereal Soul. And that's the last fragrance for you guys in today's autumn fragrances from luxury niche brands. So let me know your thoughts on these fragrances. Have you discovered them yet? If you haven't, which one sounds the best to you? Do add a comment below. And thanks so much for watching today's video, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Click that bell icon so you'll be notified for the future videos. And give a thumbs up for this video. See you guys later. Bye-bye.